certified jet. I'm on my way to a brand new kit.
Welcome back, eSIMstudios YouTube channel. We are live on this Tuesday, June 30th, 2026. I want to welcome everybody in. It's been a long little break for me. I got some explaining to do. So let me send this notification out. Give me just a second. Can everybody hear me okay? Let me make sure that I'm sending out this notification, letting everybody know that I am live at the moment. Let me just see here. Yeah, we're good. Okay, so I do apologize. I haven't uploaded anything in like 4 or 5 days. Now, when I take a long break, trust and believe, I'm not just sitting around doing nothing. If I ever take a 3, 4, 5 day break, you know I'm up to something. So the last time I took a week break, I was developing from scratch two websites, right? And I taught myself how to develop and all that good stuff. So I just get so involved with what I'm doing. I literally have blinders on, and I literally don't think about anything else, which is not all that good, because these last 3, 4, 5 days, however long it's been since I've been off YouTube, my wife's kind of gotten pissed off at me. I freaking have like locked myself in the studio, and I've fallen into vibe coding. So does anybody know what vibe coding is? You've heard that term, right? And I think I've even mentioned a thing or two about vibe coding before. So he said it's like a hipster term for essentially using AI to develop apps, to develop websites. And what was it? I think it was like last Thursday or something was my last upload on YouTube. And just to be clear, the key to YouTube is consistency. If you upload once a week, you stick to uploading once a week. If you fall off, YouTube knows, the analytics know, the algorithm knows, if you fall off your normal upload consistency, you'll fall out of the algorithm. Well, for somebody like me, I literally do uploads one piece of content every single day, whether it's a short, a video, a live stream, something every day. And then when I go offline for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days at a time, you fall out of the algorithm. So this was going to be a members only live stream. But earlier today, I was like, shit, I haven't been on YouTube in like 3 or 4 or 5 days. I'm going to do a regular live stream. And then the members live stream that was initially scheduled for today, I'm going to probably do it not tomorrow because my wife's birthday is tomorrow. But I'll schedule the members only live stream for Thursday. We'll do it Thursday. But I've always heard vibe coding, right? And I've got a number of websites and an app on the app stores. And I think last week I was like, let me see what this whole vibe coding thing is about. Holy crap. It sucked me in. So I currently I'm working on two web apps that are going to be converted into applications. And then I'm working on 2 or 3 other websites, web apps, progressive web apps, where you can add to your home screen. It's technically a website, so it's not going to be submitted to the app stores, but I'm working on like 5 projects. It's badass. If you love to create stuff like me, if you're an artist, if you're a developer, even if you're not a developer, because I was thinking about this earlier, if somebody that has 0 experience developing, could you potentially get something on the App Store? Yes, but you have to apply for a developer's, which I have, a developer's account for Google and Apple. But let's just say you wanted to get something up on a website, right? Is it possible if you have 0 coding experience and you don't have any websites or anything up? Yeah, you could. Now, with vibe coding, it's so cool. It just sucked me in. Like, I started my first project, and at first I was like, there was always one thing another app I wanted to put on the Play Store, but I couldn't think of anything else. And in the second day, it was like a freaking light bulb went off. I was going to get food one night, and all of a sudden I was like, oh crap, I could do this, I could do that, I could do this. it was like three things popped off in my head at the same time. And I could not wait to wake up the next morning and jump on my computer. Boy, I got on a roll, and I was like, damn, I really need to do YouTube today. But I just got so entrenched with what I was doing. Oh, let me add this. Oh, let me add that to the website. Oh, I need to add this to the app. Oh, no, I need to add a disclaimer. What about terms and services? What about this service? What about that service? Oh, you know what would be cool? What if I could do this? What if I could do that? Man, I get on a roll, and I just get on a roll. And so I wanted to make sure I got on YouTube today. I wanted to see how everybody was doing first and foremost, make sure y'all were doing good. Haven't seen y'all in a while. Wanted to show my face, but man, it's fun. So the key to vibe coding, if you're interested. Now, here's a cool thing that I did. I'm vibe coding on on 3 or 4 different platforms. So I was like, you know what? I wonder which one of these platforms can make me the best project, the best end result. So I had one idea. Well, I got a bunch of ideas, but specifically for one of these ideas, I input. It's like AI. If anybody's used Gemini, so Base 44, Replit, Hercules. I'm missing another one. What am I on? Hercules, Base 44, Replit, and shit. What's the other one? Anyways, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like Gemini, where it'll spit out something, but you have to give it specific guidelines of what you want it to build, or an app that you want to build. If you have an app idea, give it a try. I mean, it's pretty cool. However, it only spits out the info you give it. So if you just say, make me an app, like what I'm doing, right? Or one of the projects, make me a wallpaper app. Well, your final product's not really going to, well, it's like, damn, well, I don't want it to look like this, or it's missing that. You have to give it very, very specific instructions. The best thing to do, instead of just getting on there and spitting out, nonsense, jump on Gemini and tell Gemini, say, hey, generate me a prompt for a no-code app builder. And I want my no-code app to be based on a custom wallpaper app. Now tell Gemini, type in there how you want it, what you want. Gemini will come back and say, okay, well, do you want to add this? Do you want to add that? Do you want to add this to your final prompt? And you'll tell it yes, no, yes. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, add that. And then say, generate my final prompt for the no-code builder. It'll spit out a very, very, very specific instructions for your no-code app in essentially AI language, because it can talk, Gemini AI can talk to these vibe coding apps, in the same language. So it'll spit out a very specific prompt. You copy that prompt into your no code or vibe code app builder. And boy, on this last one I got built right now, I don't have to do any modifications. I mean, I was like, holy crap, that is badass. So I got 2 that I'm going to submit to the App Store. And then I think 3 that I'm just going to leave as web apps. So I'm going to have, and then look, if you don't know how to do something, like there was one app, right? There's one app that I'm working on that needs API access on the back end. Now I do have API. I know some, but I'm not like, you have to remember I'm self-taught. So I don't know like very specific instructions with some API backend stuff. Just jump on Fiverr and hire somebody. You give them access in the vibe code, you send them the email, they have access, they go in, connect everything, away you go. You got to pay a little bit of money, but your final product will look fantastic. So I think I'll submit everything's almost done. I have one that's essentially completed, and I'll probably submit these 2 apps to the App Store. I doubt I'll get to it this week because I need to take a break from been going super hard on these vibe coding things for this last 3, 4, 5 days. See, I've just been all in. I don't even know how long it's been. I need to take a little break this week, but I'll probably have them submitted to the App Stores this time next week, and then hopefully they'll be accepted. And even if they reject it, they'll let you modify stuff and then you can resubmit it. But man, I got carried away with that stuff. It's fun. If you like to build stuff, even if you have a good idea, again, if you have no coding experience, it's very easy. But I do suggest you go to Gemini and tell it the app idea you want and say, generate a prompt for me for a no-code app builder I can submit to build my app. And even if you just want to do a progressive web app where you can install it on your home screen, cool too. It's fun, but you got to remember, a lot of these vibe coding things they give you, they're clever with how they do the pricing. They're very sneaky. Look, they give you some free credits. AI uses credits at the beginning. They get you started on it, and then halfway through they get you sucked in, and then your credits run out, and then they're like, oh, ran out of credits, join our buy extra credits or join our monthly deal, and you can add credits to finish your app. See, they suck you in, and then you got to pay a little extra. It's not too bad. I tried all three, or not all, but like 3 or 4 of the best vibe coding ones. So I'm like, a little bit invested in, but I wanted to see which one was the best one so I could just move forward with one platform. But I wanted to try one prompt for one idea on like 3 or 4 different ones to see which one spits out the best product, and then move forward with that one. But yeah, so I'm on, what is it, base 44, which is Wix. That's their no vibe coding app. Replic's pretty good. That's the most common. Hercules, what is it called? Hercules.app. It's really good too. Nobody knows about that. I don't even know how I came across it, but that's really good as well. And I can't think of the other one, but I've been so out of the loop. I don't even know what the hell is going on in the tech world. Oh yeah, I got an email this morning. I don't know if y'all saw my community post. Nothing accepted us into their content creators review program. So they're going to start sending me products again. They did this at the very beginning when I first started my channel. I think they sent me, what was it? The Nothing Phone 2, I think, or was it the 2A? And then I never heard anything back from them. It was just like, I guess, a one-time deal, and I didn't even sign anything. Now this morning, I applied for this, right? On their website, they have a little section for content creators. I think it's in marketing or whatever section it is. You can apply, content creators can apply to be a part of their review program. And I did this months ago. I don't even hardly remember doing it. I mean, I do, but it's been a while, maybe 3 or 4 months. And then this morning they sent me an email saying, congratulations, you've been accepted. Sign this NDA and we'll send you your very first product. So they're going to send me the Nothing Ear 3A. It's the continuation of the A series, what I'm using now. I freaking love these things. Y'all know, I've said it plenty of times. These are my favorite. The best value you can get for earbuds are the Nothing A series. It's like their budget earbuds. They're still $100 brand new, but they got them on sale on Amazon for $50 all the time. So I'm excited. They're going to send me their new earbuds, and then hopefully, well, it said, I made sure to read the entire document to see, does this expire? Is this a one-time thing? There was no expiration date. It says until either party chooses to leave the program. It's kind of like an at-will type of thing. It did say, I looked for this, I did not have to return the products. So lucky for you, I'm going to be giving away Nothing products. So whether it's the next A series phone, I'm going to review it. Depending on how much I like it, I might keep it. But like for earbuds, stuff like that, I'm going to be giving away to y'all. So courtesy of Nothing. But I just signed that NDA. Essentially, I can talk about it like this. I just can't, the whole publishing my video before they announce it, I can't do that. So whatever. I'm gonna have to review that contract again here before I start recording stuff, just to make sure I don't mess up. Just figured that the new Snapdragon Elite Gen 6 Pro will support Wi-Fi 8 and Bluetooth 7. Nobody's talking about this. we will be talking about this. You know why? Because it seems like nobody cares about this stuff except us. It's an enormous deal. Uh, Again, I don't know why nobody talks about this stuff. I've been called a lot of things for me always bigging up Wi-Fi 7. And I get it. If you don't have Wi-Fi 7, you're like, what's the big deal? It's a huge freaking deal. Wi-Fi 8, going to be an even bigger deal. Bluetooth 7, enormous deal. It's just little things that people don't even think about in their daily lives. This has a huge factor on how you use these electronic mobile devices in your life. Bluetooth 7 is going to drastically increase how far, like if you have your phone on the other side of the house and you got your earbud plugged in and you walk all the way catty corner across the other side of your house, you know how sometimes it breaks up? Well, guess what? With Bluetooth 7, you're not going to have that problem anymore. In fact, I think you're going to be able to go about 100 yards without it breaking up. So it's a big deal. So we're going to talk a lot about that as we get closer. Oh, Snapdragon just invited me to Hawaii for their I'm a member of their developers program. I looked at flights this morning. Holy crap, it's expensive. So I don't know if I'm going to go to we're talking thousands of dollars, right? And nobody's paying for it. So, but I got the invite this morning. That's when Snapdragon is going to release their new flagship Gen 6 and Gen 6 Pro. I think it's September. Let me look up the invite. Let's see. All inbox. Snapdragon Insiders Program. It says attend the Snapdragon. You're invited to attend the Snapdragon Summit 2026. September 21st through September 25th in Maui. Yikes, that's going to be expensive. What's going on, brother? I would not be surprised if S27 does not enable Wi-Fi 7 and Bluetooth 7 and they have it for the S28 Ultra and pretend like it doesn't exist. You know, I'm not sure if it works that way. Now, I'm sure they can write code in the operating system in One UI to only enable Wi-Fi 7, but I don't see them doing that. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but you would think because look, Samsung's gonna need every advantage possible. Remember, the prices are gonna go up on these phones. They're gonna need every advantage, everything they can brag about over their competition and over the iPhone. Sorry, my brain's a mess. I don't know how much. I don't know how many upgrades we're going to get with these S27 series. I've heard for the longest time we're going to see an all new design. This is the S27 series is the year that they're going to upgrade everything, all the hardware. I'm starting to have my doubts, honestly. Now, are we going to get some upgrades? Sure, I truly believe that, but I don't think it's going to be this all world change that all of us have been hearing about behind the scenes and kind of hoping for. Well, definitely hoping for. They're having money issues, and I just don't know how much they're going to increase the price of this and what they're going to change. Because if they literally change everything, they're not going to be making much of a profit. And I think that's obviously their number one goal. We just have to wait and see. I don't know. A lack of eyebrows gives bad guy energy. Well, good thing I got eyebrows. I know you're not talking about me, right? I was told to get Head and Shoulders. Where do you get Head and Shoulders? Amazon? Walgreens? HEB? Hey, what's going on, brother? It's good to see you. What MacBook did you get? I haven't gotten one yet. There's so I did a ton of searching right before I did my did my dive into vibe coding and stuff. I'm gonna have to get one here soon. I'm gonna have to get one probably this upcoming week, or probably over the weekend, because next week I anticipate finally submitting the apps to the App Store, Apple App Store. And I used that MacBook, that M4 MacBook Air that I had for a couple weeks last year to submit my app that I have now on the App Store, but I returned it, and I was like, what's the big deal? But obviously, I should have kept it. I'm gonna have to figure something out. I don't know. I looked at the prices and I was like, oh my god, I was like a week or two too late, right? I think the prices just went up earlier last week or over the weekend, or I think it was last week. I'm gonna have to get something. I'll probably get the Air. I don't know if it's gonna be an M5, probably an M4, just because trying to keep the prices down. If the prices did not rise like they did last week, it'd probably be a brand new M5 MacBook Air. But here's the deal: I'm not gonna use it. I freaking hate Apple and Mac OS. I would just be using it to upload to the Apple App Store and or using Xcode. Daniel, one of our subscribers here, I've been talking to him on the back end, and he brought up a good point that maybe the Neo is not the best thing to get, because Xcode and running simulation, running what your app can look like as you build it, does use a decent amount of RAM. I didn't think about that. I forgot about that. So I'm like, well, shit, I guess that eliminates the Neo, because it only comes with 8 gigs of RAM. Now, for everyday use, email, basic website stuff for a basic student, it's fine. And I thought I might be able to get away with that, but I don't think I am, because Xcode does run a decent amount of RAM, so I guess that eliminates that device. So more than likely it'll just be an M4. I don't know. I'll probably start looking to purchase something here over the weekend, but we shall see. These phone chips are top level. Yeah, they are. Yeah, Snapdragon has really turned the corner. If you think about it, just in the last 2 to 3 years. You remember dating back to like the S20, S21, S22, when Snapdragon, it seemed like they just couldn't get over the hump and really compete with Apple. Well, now they've surpassed Apple as far as I'm concerned, as far as performance. It's amazing what they've done, especially with their laptop, desktop PCs. It's amazing where they're going. And you saw this week, how these companies are starting to make their own CPUs, like Apple, Google, Samsung's trying to, get their Exynos ramped up. And we've all talked about this. Snapdragon knows that eventually they're going to be pinched out of the market if Samsung makes their own CPUs, Xiaomi, Apple, Google. Where does that leave Qualcomm? Well, Qualcomm purchased, they're getting into data centers, data center servers, data center server CPUs. They purchased a big, I don't even know. I just read the headlines. I don't even know the details. Maybe I shouldn't talk because I'll probably sound stupid. But Qualcomm, they're making moves to solidify their future so they don't, go out of business. But they're getting in the AI world, data centers, server side, stuff like that. So they'll be fine. They have smart people running the company. I've been a long time fan of Qualcomm's since I can remember, honestly. I love their CPUs. I love their products. They make a fantastic processor. The issue, now I did have an issue with last year's flagship CPU. My S25 Ultra overheated like crazy. And then I enrolled in the beta program and all was good for a month or two, and then the battery life went to shit. But but this current flagship CPU that they have, phenomenal. And I think next year it's going to be even better. Well, yeah, they're going to launch this new one here in a few months. So at the end of the year, this upcoming new flagship CPU, fingers crossed. I think it's going to be great. The issue is that S27 Ultra and S27 Pro won't be using Wi-Fi 8 and Bluetooth 7. They are going to save these future flagship phones like S28 Ultra because they are cost cutting. But does disabling Wi-Fi 8 and Bluetooth 7 save them money? I don't know if that's the case. Maybe it is, but just off the top of my head, how would that save them money? Unless they just want to pull an Apple and kick stuff down the road and promote later at a later time. I can see that. Only OnePlus 16 will be Wi-Fi 8 in America. Samsung apparently isn't interested in enabling. This is why they... Now, check this out. With Wi-Fi 8, we're still years away from that even being a thing. Like, Wi-Fi 7 has been around for a few years, 3 or 4 years, and just now people are starting to get Wi-Fi 7 routers in their homes, like with us, with Google Fiber, right? Like, they're just now getting Wi-Fi. So even when Wi-Fi 8, when that standard is launched, it's still going to be 3, 4, 5 years before it's a common thing in regular households, businesses, right? So it's not a big deal to me if they enable it, because what they can do is enable it down the road in a later and or future update, right? Like if Samsung launches the S27 series and that chip they have in there can handle Wi-Fi 8, Bluetooth 7, but they don't. They launch it with, maybe let's say they disable that in the system settings or behind the scenes in One UI, and it just launches with Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4 or Bluetooth 6. You know, even if it did launch with that, who's going to use it for the next year or two? Nobody. So it's kind of a non-issue for me at this point, because I mean, I don't even think that Wi-Fi, maybe it has, maybe I'm wrong, Wi-Fi 8 standard has been certified. I don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. We all know the carriers or Nokia spearheading 6G data, right? That's the way it works. S23, S24, S24 Plus, Wi-Fi 7, but Samsung disabled it and downgraded to Wi-Fi 6E. That's true. Yeah, that is very true. Yeah, Wi-Fi 7 S24 Ultra was the only device in that S24 Ultra was that only device in that Samsung Galaxy family that had Wi-Fi 7 enabled, and they all had the same CPU. So you're correct. Yeah, they'll probably do the same thing. But my whole point is, even if they enable it, nobody can use it. I mean, I don't even think there's, again, I don't think there's Wi-Fi 8 routers even available to purchase. So what does it matter? I don't know. Apple, man, their trade-in values are horrible. In fact, one of the many reasons why I despise Apple is because they continually shit on Android users. This goes back years. I can't even remember, maybe it was iPhone 14. I looked into upgrading when they launched the 14, and I've checked every single year since. They give you shitty trade-in values for any Android device. The only devices they give you good trade-in values for is previous iPhones. They do that on purpose. They're trying to stick it to if you want to be honest, I know they're doing that on purpose, trolling us. Because if they really wanted people to switch to Apple, they would give high trade-in values. This is what Samsung does. They would give high trade-in values for your competitors' products. Draw people in, hey, you have a S26 Ultra? We'll give you $1,000 for it. Trade that in, and you can have $1,000 off the newest iPhone. It's like, why don't they do that? All right, Samsung does that, right? For other competitors, they give a high trade-in value because they want you to start using a Samsung phone. Apple does this because they can, because they're dickheads. That's the only reason why, right? Because they know they don't want your measly Galaxy phone. They don't want, which is better. They don't want your stupid Chinese OnePlus phone, which is better. They want to make it look like they have the superior product, and it's quite the opposite. It's I could make a long list of reasons why I hate Apple. And a lot of it has to do with these Apple fanboys. Let's be honest. They think they're hot shit, walking around like their stuff doesn't stink, when in fact you have the worst phone than I do. So why are you a snooty pretending like you got the best thing since sliced bread, right? So that's probably the number one thing that bothers me, is the Apple fanboys that think, oh, you have an Android, you're a peasant, or you're poor, you have an Android. Like, what? Whatever. You're brainwashed, because these 3 phones I have here are way better than anything Apple has that are sitting on my desk right now. Anything Apple has. And it's the operating system. I'm going to get started. Don't get me started. The operating system makes 0 sense. And don't get offended if you're an iPhone user. Look, not everybody is everything, right? Not everything as a whole, but for the most part, the iPhone is the smartphone for dumb people, right? In my opinion, Android is made for, well, everybody, but the people that really like Android are the people that are really technical, the people that like customizing things, that have a real technical mind. iOS is freaking ridiculous. I was over here using my iPhone, testing out apps the other day. I'm like, God, iOS freaking drives me crazy. There's certain things you can and can't do, and I'm like, well, wait a second, why can't I go back to the previous page? I'm like, is it the app that I was developing? Is it something wrong with it? And I'm go back into the code, going to the back end, swipe, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, persistent. I'm like, so wait a second, you can't swipe back on some pages. Like Android, you can swipe all the way back to the home page. iPhone, nope. I'm like, what the hell? That doesn't even make any sense. Ugh. My S25 Ultra got around 13 hours of screen on time and with light performance profile enabled. Yeah, when I had my S25 Ultra, when I had that battery drain bug, it stayed in light performance mode 24/7. 24/7. It would help sometimes, but since I've had the S26 Ultra, I haven't even been in light performance mode, not even for 1 second. And honestly, while we're being honest here, which I like to do, I would like to maybe tell you that I was wrong on one anticipated thing of the S26 series leading up to the S26 Ultra. We all heard how it was going to be faster charging, and I was like, it's BS. And I think I put out a stat saying it's only 3% or 7% faster than over the S25 Ultra. It's not going to be a big deal. They're just blowing this up. No, fast charging, the charging speeds on the S26 Ultra is incredibly faster than the S25 series. Now, it's not OnePlus fast, right? It's not Motorola fast. The Signature can charge up almost as fast as the OnePlus 15. Now, remember, the OnePlus 15 has a 7,300 milliampere hour battery, but that thing charges in 30 minutes, so it's pretty freaking quick. My Motorola Signature, 0 to 100 in maybe 35 minutes, maybe 40. I think it's about 30. It's got to be around 30. It's got a 5,200 milliampere hour battery and a 90-watt charger. But the S26 Ultra, it was on 4% the other day. Again, not paying attention to anything around me. I was too glued with these apps that I'm building. And my phone is on 4%. I looked down, I'm like, holy shit. I plugged it in. I got up to go brush my teeth, wash my face, maybe 15, 20 minutes away from the phone. I get back and it's at 73%. I'm like, whoa, from 4% to 73% in about 20 minutes? It's pretty freaking good. So I would like to congratulate Samsung. It's probably my favorite upgrade on the S26 Ultra. It's not really much of an upgrade compared to the S25 Ultra. They did upgrade the charging speeds. So I want to congratulate Samsung and let everybody know that I was wrong. They did improve charging. It's pretty quick. Like if you've had any previous Samsung phone, you know what a pain in the ass charging is. You upgraded the S26 Ultra, it's really not a thing anymore. Like I run my phone down all the way now. In the past, if it got below 50, gotta plug it in. Gotta plug it in. Now, I'm like, 7%, 4%, no big deal. It's just not a thing. I know. That's what I'm saying. It's really not a issue or something to worry about at this point. And honestly, I think it won't be for the next few years. It's going to take another 3 to 4 years for Wi-Fi 7 to fully integrate that standard to into the common household and or common business, right? Because a lot of them shit, even I don't even know if a lot of people are on Wi-Fi 6 at this point. But if you have the opportunity, I would certainly uh, uh, recommend Wi-Fi 7. I didn't think it was a big deal. Whatever. I'm like, holy shit, it is insane. It is insane how fast Wi-Fi 7 is, and the signal too. I can go across the street and I still have like full bars. Like, it's pretty crazy. So I certainly encourage Wi-Fi 7 if you have the opportunity. And I pay for 3 gigs download, 3 gigs upload with Google Fiber. I get 2.5 download and 2.5 upload on Wi-Fi. On Wi-Fi. That's pretty insane. I'm sure they will. Now, I was going to get into some news, but I don't think I got time. OnePlus, I did see a news article, again, for all those people that don't believe me. Another little tidbit of information. OnePlus is now recommending that users purchase an Oppo phone. Maybe we'll get into that tomorrow or Thursday, but I saw that headline today or last night, and I was like, I wonder if there's people still calling me a liar after seeing these. It seems like every week there's like a little piece of information about OnePlus. It's such a shame. I freaking love OnePlus. And I don't get enjoyment out of saying it. It's just, I get enjoyment out of proving people wrong, not necessarily, the news. But it sucks, man. Yeah, I'm sure they will. The Chinese variant. What's my... I've been asked that before. That's like asking you, literally, when I think of that question, that's like asking me what's your favorite child. I love each. Okay, so my 3 top favorite phones right now, and it's probably the ones that I got in rotation. It's the Signature, it's the OnePlus 15, and it's the S26 Ultra. As much as I try to put down my S26 Ultra, I can't. Now I know it's really not much of an upgrade. We can all dog on Samsung, but I figured out why they got me glued in to always have this in my pocket, no matter what other phone is in my pocket, because I always carry on 2 phones at all times. It's the software. It's One UI 8 or whatever we're on, 8.5. It's really freaking good. It's really good. But that's like choosing my favorite child. I don't know. I love each one because of different reasons, right? I love the S26 Ultra because it's like an all-rounder. Like, it's just a good phone, right? It doesn't do one thing fantastic, but it does everything really good. It's like a SUV. I know I compare phones to cars, but it does everything really freaking good. I love the Signature because it's thin, it's lightweight. Ooh, I went out yesterday and took a whole bunch of photos, videos. I'm gonna upload all. See, here's the thing with the Signature, the camera is so badass. To be honest with you, I kind of struggle with uploading original content from the Signature. Now I know you're saying, well, just upload your pictures and videos from the phone up onto YouTube. Yeah, but here's the thing. Because I don't want the photos and or videos to get washed when you, like, if I compile a video into CapCut of Signature stuff in CapCut, and then I compile it in CapCut, and then I upload it to YouTube, it's just not the same. The quality's there, kind of. It's just not the same. You just don't get a good feel of, the codec might change or something might change. Because here's the thing. So I have some 4K 60 videos. I have some 1080p 30 videos. Some I have 4K 30. Some I have 1080p 60. And when you compile a CapCut videos, or with any other Filmora or any of the other video editors, there's always a final resolution at the end. Meaning, if you have 4 different resolutions that you have in the video, well, it asks you at the end, do you want it 4K 30, 4K 60? And then that means the entire project is that. Or do you want it 1080p 30? That means your 4K videos that you got in there are downgraded to 1080p, or the 60 frames per second video you have in there is downgraded to 30 frames per second, and you don't get a good feel of what the phone can do. So what I'm in the process of doing is I'm just gonna, all the content I shoot on the Signature or moving forward, I'm gonna put in a Google Photos or Google Drive folder, and then I'll put that link out for y'all to check out. So I'll probably do a video compiling it in CapCut, but then in the video description, I'll put a link to where you can see the original quality, meaning I'll compile the videos in one folder, and then you can choose one by one the videos, and you can see it in full resolution and the full capability of the camera. I've noticed, weird, the camera's so good on the Signature, I've noticed that now over any other phone I've ever used. It's that good. I mean, yesterday I was out taking pictures. I was like, holy shit. I was showing my wife. I'm taking selfies, taking pictures. The cameras are so, you can see every single pore on my face, every individual hair, which may not be the best face to look at, but just as far as the detail, I was out taking pictures yesterday with it, and I was like, this blows away any other phone that I have. It's that good. I like the Signature because of the camera. It's super thin. It's super lightweight. It feels like you're holding a 6.5 inch display, but it's a big 6.7 inch display. It's very thin, very lightweight. And I like the operating system. OnePlus, just a beast of a phone, like a Ferrari. Like, it's, talk about speed, it's got that. So, and the battery, it's a 2-day battery life. How can you not like that? So, getting back to your original question, it's hard for me to, I can't pick like my one favorite phone. I just can't do it. Now, man, say if I had to pick one and move forward, yeah, I don't know. Maybe ask that question tomorrow. Maybe I'll think about it this afternoon, but the most logical thing would be choose the best all-rounder. Right? You get some of this, some of that, which would be the Samsung, but then you miss out with the photo quality and the sleekness of the Motorola, but then you miss out with the 2-day battery life in the OnePlus. You know? Like, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me to pick. But ask that question maybe on I'll do some thinking about it this afternoon. Yeah, they are. You have to be very clever. You can't have the same, so if you have one app, so if you build an app, you're right though. If you build one app, you kind of have to, you can't just fork it one, the same file going to Apple, one to Google. They have different requirements. So you kind of have to build a base app, and then in your IPA file, which goes to Apple, you kind of have to make some modifications within that file or file system. And then with Google, you don't have to, well, they have different restrictions. So yeah, it's tricky, and you want to get it right the first time. You don't want to keep on submitting it and get it rejected, submitting it and getting rejected, and submitting it and getting rejected. I was lucky on my first, on the app that I have out now. I got lucky. I did my research. I kind of like over research things and overthink stuff. So I knew that going into it. So I was lucky. I got submitted the app, my first app, and both accepted it. With these, I'm being very careful in as far as payment systems, because on my first app, there was no payment system in there, meaning like users can make a payment. This one will be the first app where I submit there a payment inside there where users can pay for a pro version of it. So I'm kind of going through that right now, kind of trying to figure out how there can't be any third-party payment processors in there, which is understandable. But yeah, it is interesting. Each have their own little twist to it, but it's very true. Very much more, and I can tell you just from doing it over these last year, specifically this last week, it's much more restrictive than Google is. I can tell you that, which is good and bad, but a lot of it's tedious stuff, right? A lot of it's stuff that's like really. I mean, you get why they do it, but they're like to the max, if that makes sense. You should get awesome battery life, and oh yes, One UI 8.5 tanked. Holy crap. Now, there is a new Google Play system update available today. I don't think that will affect your battery life, but it may help. Now, did you try to disable Knox Matrix? Because it's that system app. Well, it's one of two, but Knox Matrix was the Samsung system app that was causing the most issues for people that had the battery drain problems. I made a video about it a couple weeks ago. It has a thumbnail with the bug on it. Just look for that, and I'll walk you through how to like disable it, which should help. I think there's been a couple of people that have commented that said it did help with theirs, so you can always go back and look. But yeah, it sucks. It totally destroyed that phone. I loved that phone, and it went downhill fast with that phone, because when I first got it, I had overheating issues. You know, I had like 2 good months of use out of it where it was like perfect, and then boom, and then the next 4 months it was bad battery life. What complaint is it if the chipset supports Wi-Fi 6 and I'm paying for it? Why does Samsung have to go to the trouble of disable Wi-Fi capability? Why not let Wi-Fi 6 be as it's meant to be? Yeah, so it goes back to the S24 series, because on the S24 they all had the same CPU. Yeah, they had the same CPU, but only on the Ultra had Wi-Fi 7. Now the cheaper models could have, right, Wi-Fi 7. They're just being assholes. They're just being dickheads and wanting people to buy that, care about that stuff, like you and I. They're making sure we buy the Ultra model, the more expensive model. But now they can't get away with it. I think they were I think at that point in time, they were within a very finite amount of time, a little window where they could get away with doing that. They might do it again. Who am I to say they won't? But not many people. Remember, that was what, 2 years ago. So Wi-Fi 7 really wasn't a thing. It was brand new back then. So they could kind of do that, right? But now with Wi-Fi 8 coming around, I don't know. Knowing them, they probably will. I'm sure some assholes up in the boardroom meeting saying, yeah, you know what we should do is enable Wi-Fi 8 for the S27 Ultra, and all other devices get Wi-Fi 7. It's probably what happens. But it doesn't make... If it's their flagship, they should blow it out with specs up to what they can afford. Enabling Wi-Fi enabling costs them nothing. That's a line of code in the operating system. It's not like, oh, it's a big sensor upgrade, it's going to cost them an extra $7-8 per device to do that. No. So yeah, if they do that again, we'll certainly call them out on it, because it's pretty stupid. Yeah, I haven't looked in a while. Where's mine? Actually, I guess we could check that out real quick. I need to do a case review. I need to do case reviews. Let's see, shall we? So, Best Buy, I don't know if Best Buy has any. So they still have the 12 gig 256. Do they? Yeah, it says buy now. It would say sold out if it was sold out. Let's see if they have the... Okay, so the 16 512 black is sold out. Let's see the white. Sold out. So all they have is the black 12 256. There was somebody in town the other day. I get notified for certain devices that are for sale. And I got notified, this was maybe over the weekend. Somebody had a black OnePlus 15, 16 gig model for $400, and I was like, $400. I jumped on my phone messaging them, hey, where you located at? Because I was going to buy it and flip it, right? They were literally like an hour away, and I'm like, oh. And what do you know? Within an hour, they marked it sold. But I was like, damn. I don't know if Best Buy has it or not. Let's see here. No. Know my location. Get out of here. Damn it. This no longer in new condition. As long as it's in good condition, I don't care if it's used, honestly. And that's the best way to go. I mean, unless you absolutely have to have a brand new device, as long as it's in good shape, I don't care. In fact, that's probably the smartest idea because you can get it for a couple $100 less. So where's their used units? They don't have any? That's weird. Normally they have like a little section under here that says so they get, see what I'm telling you? The OnePlus 13, still $800. The prices of these devices have not gone down. The OnePlus 13 is more expensive than the OnePlus 15R. And that's insane. It's a good device. Classic phone. Can't go wrong with the 13. In fact, still be a viable device. Look, you can get one for sale for $487. Well, so hold up. This is still new? I would like to get a new R series device though, 15R. I might start looking for one. But that's a good deal right there. If you can find a OnePlus 13 for $487, that's a good deal. I don't see any 15s for sale at all. Let's see. Let's move it over here. Nope. Damn, that's a good one right there. 503 for the blue one. That's a good deal right there. So yeah, it looks like they're going quick. And again, there's not many for sale. Like on Swappo, on Facebook Marketplace. So what does that tell you? It's a good phone. People are holding on to it. They don't want to let them go. Every once in a while, you'll see one for sale. Now, I don't know how many they sold. I'm assuming a couple 100,000, maybe 150,000, maybe 200,000. We don't know, but there are just not many for sale. So if you do find, if you're looking for one and you come across a good deal, I would get it. But that's just me, right? I think it's going to be a classic phone that 5 years from now, we're going to look back on and be like, yeah, that was a badass phone, you know? And I think they still get updates for the next 5 years, 6 years, something like that. So we shall see, but it's a good phone, man. Google June Play System patch update. I don't know. I literally just updated my phones to the June update before I went live. Maybe about an hour before I went live. They're out right now, so I haven't even tested my phone yet. So the update is available if you go to your settings app, and it's for all Android devices. But if you don't have it now, you may get it the next day or two. But it's out. I've already updated one of my phones to it. I just haven't been on my phone since this live stream. So go to your settings app, go to your search bar, type in Google Play System Update, check for an update, download it, restart your phone, and away you go. Hopefully it does. With the Samsung battery drain bug, like I was saying earlier, it could help, but that was a system app that was continuously running in the background. The Knox Matrix application, it won't show up in your app drawer, but you can find it. And I did make a video, as I was saying, a week or two ago, how to locate that app and how to force close it and disable it. And a couple of people, as I mentioned earlier, commented and said it helped. So, but every little bit helps, right? You can disable that Knox Matrix. You can update your phone. It might help. I just have no clue. I'm talking about the Google Play System update. Yeah, I know. I've been back in the market looking for a Pixel 9 Pro XL. That was my favorite Pixel. I'm trying to go get me another one. That's the one that they had a SIM card on. You could use SIM card. That's the one before they implemented the 200 charging cycle thing. I'm gonna just started looking for one like or at prices like yesterday. So I think I'm gonna get me another Pixel 9 Pro XL. I love that phone, man. I think I'm gonna get me one. Yes, it will. I think it's gonna have what, almost a 10,000 milliamp hour battery or something like 9,000. It just sucks. It's gonna be China only and no Oxygen OS. But I won't be getting one. Between S26 Ultra and OnePlus 15, which one overheats less and dims the screen less? Which one is apparently the most reliable? I heard OnePlus has so many bugs. I don't have any bugs. I have zero. And look, it depends. It's different for every user. So if one person says, "Oh, I have a lot of bugs, it sucks," I don't. So it just depends on what you have on your phone, what you've installed, what you're running. Maybe I need to do a video about that. I've done one before. How to enable battery stats in your phone and locate wake locks. Which one overheats less? The OnePlus 15 overheats less. Gets less hot. Now, that's not saying the S26 Ultra gets hot, because it doesn't. But when I do render videos, it gets a little warm. But nothing where I'm like, holy shit, my phone's getting hot. Nothing like that, which I expect. Every phone that I render 4K videos on will warm up. It's just a fact. But screen dimness, I don't know. They both get pretty friggin' low. Let me see if I can even tell a difference. So it looks like maybe by a couple nits, the S26 Ultra is a tiny bit dimmer, just barely. But it's pretty freaking close. Yeah, it's the but I don't have any bugs. Customized setting on the S25 Ultra to save battery life. You talking about the profile where you can reduce the processor by its power by 20% or a cap set at 80%. Yeah, I've used that one. No new ones on Amazon or Best Buy. Damn, what about Swappa? There's 2 for sale. 2? Are you kidding me? It's up there too. I mean, look, those launched at $9.99. It's been 7 months or something like that, and they're still sitting at. I mean, that one's at what, almost damn near $900. Yeah, sucks. You know, you can put alerts on if you have OfferUp, the app OfferUp, Mercari, Swappa, you can set alarms or alerts for items that when somebody posts, like on Facebook Marketplace, if somebody posts a OnePlus 15, doom, you get an alarm. Like me yesterday or the other week when somebody posted that OnePlus 15 for $400, it alerted me. You can jump on it, but there's just not that many out there. And again, I think that's, if you kind of peel behind the curtains or do some deep thinking, it really shows you. And it's not like they only sold 1 or 2 phones. You know, they had a decent sales. I mean, look, they're not Samsung, right? They're not selling 80 million phones a year. But they did sell phones. And a couple 100,000 probably, realistically, at least in the US. And that's a good number. But that tells you people are holding on to these phones, right? If they sucked, people would be selling them. There'd be a lot for sale. So it goes to show you just how good of a phone this is. It's a fantastic phone. I don't have any bugs. And the battery is like 2 freaking days. It's insane. Yeah, so they're working on it. They're working on their version. So we originally thought that they were gonna launch their version of the silicon carbon in the S27 series, and now I'm hearing they're not gonna do that. They're gonna wait another year. So it looks like we're gonna now they're gonna increase battery size. I think now not confirmed, but this is what I'm hearing. They're gonna increase battery size a little bit, but they're not doing their silicon carbon yet. Still more testing. They're right on the cusp, and I think they're trying to decide, should we, it's a little risky if you're not 100% fully ready to implement these in a production unit. It's a little risky, right? We all remember what happened to the Note 7 fiasco. Them things blew up, and they don't want that to happen again. So you have to give them a little bit of, I get it, I understand. They want to make sure everything is a-okay. The last thing they want, and that was freaking 10 years ago when social media was just kind of in its infancy. Now, if a phone, you know how big of a blow this would be to Samsung if they put out the S27 Ultra and they started blowing up with social media the way it is today. It might be the fall of Samsung as far as their mobile division. I'm not even joking. It would be an enormous disaster for the company, especially if somebody died and you got all that. And I think one or two, did somebody die back then? I don't remember, but I know houses burned down. They remember the FAA wouldn't allow you to fly on an airplane if you had a Samsung Note 7. So you got to give them, look, I'm not, they're hard at work on putting something out. Let's just put it that way. So it's not like they're just like, we don't need that technology in our phone. No, they know. They know that's where the industry's headed. They know eventually they're going to get there. They're hard at work trying to get a production unit ramped up. They just want to make sure they're 100% a-okay with everything. This stuff goes through a lot of testing. Years and years and years of testing before a important decision like this can be made. It's not just something they're like, yeah, just go ahead and put it in the next phone. It doesn't work like that, especially with their history. So, I want to these Samsung phones to have silicon carbon batteries just as bad as you or anybody else. But you got to cut them some slack. You have to understand, not necessarily cut them slack, but you got to understand why they're taking a little longer. Is they can't have another Note 7 fiasco at all. Period. Even in Amazon, 16,512 only have used ones that are greater than, it is. And that's why if you got one for sale, you can ask more for it because it's all supply and demand. Now, again, that's why, look, this one has, what does it say? 18 photos. Recent sales. Look at those prices. There's pretty high. I know. It's one of those things where you might not find a good deal until, if you really want one, the time to buy one is going to be after the OnePlus 16 is released. And I know, I thought you said the OnePlus 16 isn't going to be released. It's China only, remember, and it's going to be, there's not an Oxygen OS you can flash to this new device. So, and the carriers are probably not really going to work with this. So, are they going to make a OnePlus 16? Yes. China only, in my opinion. It's not worth even buying. Again, you won't be able to change the operating system. Everything's going to be in Mandarin. It's just, that whole thing. So I think the time to buy a OnePlus 15 is after the OnePlus 16 is launched. You'll see these prices, not drastically, they'll come down. And that's probably the time to buy one. Unless you find one like I did the other day for $400. Somebody's just trying to sell it to, they're behind on a bill, or a crackhead needs a quick fix, so they're trying to sell whatever they can. Those are going to be your best bets to find one at a good deal. But buying one from a retailer, probably not, or an online marketplace, it's probably be a good time to buy here in the next few months. So be patient. I wouldn't rush into anything. I would only buy something if you find a good deal on one, right? That's what I would do. Hey, what's going on, man? Appreciate you joining us today. Thank you very much. What the hell? Oh, Finally found the cons of S26 Ultra woes. It was the meta services, which are pre-installed on unlocked US devices. After disabling them, it worked great. No shit. You mean like all meta apps, like WhatsApp, Facebook, all that crap, Instagram? Now, did you uninstall it, or did you disable them, or what did you do? Or did you set the background processes to restricted? I might go through that later today and see what mine are set at. Because it's not like I'm getting bad battery life. I don't have any complaints, but I think I could get better. And you know, I think I could squeeze another hour or two out of it, quite honestly. Let's see here. Yeah, I did. I'm in the process of trying to find one, and boy, did I pick the wrong time to look. I went through that earlier in the stream. I think I crossed out the Neo. I don't think it's going to work for what I'm looking for it to do. So that means, yeah, big price hike, going from essentially you can find a used Neo for like $500 up to $1,000. Now I know you can buy a M2 MacBook Pro for $700, but I don't want an M2. Like, I want something, you know, relatively new, because I don't want to have to keep on doing this, because I don't want to have to buy another MacBook again, like I did with this last one. I just want to use it for app uploads into the App Store, and essentially that's it. But I'm going to need 16 gigs of RAM, so it kind of limits or it crosses off the Neo off of my list. But I'll probably get back into looking here this afternoon or tomorrow. Yeah, it sucks. It does, and they set the standard for all other manufacturers. So now it gives Samsung an excuse to raise their prices, and it gives Oppo the excuse to raise their prices. It gives Samsung, Google, you know, everybody. Apple is, unfortunately, as much as it pains me to say this, they are the leader in certain aspects in the tech world. It is what it is. Yeah, I am too. I was gonna talk about that today, and I really don't have time. I'll probably do that tomorrow. Get into some news and some devices. I am too. I got an email this morning from Red Magic. I got on their wait list for that specifically. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I tried to get one last year, the Astra. I waited too long, and they were sold out before I could even attempt to make a purchase. Proper Reddit app, just an absolute RAM and battery killer. You're better off using Red Reader or Infinity or Revanced. Or what about the web version? You know, you can install that. Obviously, I'm sure you know. You can uninstall the app, but go to their website, and then you can add the home screen, you know, web app. That might be an option. Although it may be a Chrome RAM hogger. Silicon carbon battery explosion, yet they have been researched for decades. They're not new technology. They have been here for a while. Yeah, I don't think I've heard of one exploding either. I was following those Mac price increases. I don't use Mac, but just because I'm curious from an industry perspective. It's very interesting. Ooh, okay, so I was going to talk about this today, and I got so sidetracked with all my vibe coding projects that I forgot to even bring this up. There's if you find this intriguing like I do, and some people, I know it's not the most interesting topic online for the vast majority of people. I find it dramatically interesting. Going behind, kind of peel the curtain back a little bit and see where the market's headed. I like to talk about that stuff. I know a lot of YouTubers don't. I find it incredibly interesting. So there is a news story, and I'm not going to get into it now. We'll do it tomorrow, because honestly, I think I need to get off here. I got to take a piss anyway, so I'm trying to wrap this up. Apple, you know how they purchased the RAM in mass quantities at a negotiated lower price. When was it? A couple years ago or last year? Well, guess what? They've used up all that RAM. I told you they purchased a mass, I'm talking millions and millions of chips. Well, guess what? They sell freaking 80 to 90 million devices a year. So literally all that RAM hoarding and memory hoarding they were doing and purchasing is gone now. So now Apple's freaking out. Now they're hitting a wall. Now they're seeing what everybody else is seeing. Samsung, Google, what these Xiaomi, what these other companies are seeing when they have to go purchase RAM for their devices. They get back into the market and they're like, holy crap, all this is expensive. It's like, yeah, no shit. That's what everybody else has been dealing with for the last year or so. Well, they're freaking out. And that's one of the reasons why they're raising their prices. But I have a story that I'll mention and or dig into specifically tomorrow that has to deal with what their plan is, what they're thinking about doing. It's mind-blowing. Now, I don't know if they can pull a rabbit out of the hat this time. Not necessarily they got lucky last time, but I think timing was absolutely key with them. And you got to remember, they have more resources than God, basically. Like, there's only a handful of companies that have more resources than Apple. So they find themselves in a very, very very interesting position. Not many other companies can get to. But I think they're freaking out, and tomorrow we'll talk about what their plan is moving forward, because I think all options are on the table, and I think a lot of y'all are going to be shocked at what they're actually considering doing. So we'll get into that tomorrow for sure, because I was going to bring that up. In fact, I have that saved on my phone here to talk about. I don't know if you can. I mean, you can sue for anything, but it's honestly a supply and demand issue, right? I mean, I only took Economics 101 in college, so I get the basics of it. Well, I take that back. I took more than that because, anyways, I think it's a supply and demand thing. Well, I know it is. We'll get into it tomorrow, but I don't know if they could be, because they have evidence to provide even if they did get into a lawsuit. Well, Apple, again, pretty freaking, they nickel and dime everybody, but everybody else is raising the prices too. So it's not just Apple. Yeah, supply and demand, exactly. I'm thinking of selling my desktop with 64 gigs of RAM, 580, 4 terabyte storage. Those could, I know you could just sell those components themselves individually and get a massive amount of money for those. I mean, those alone would pay for everything, or just the storage alone, not even the GPU. Never settled. Damn right. Damn, StreamYard's messed up today. Not all Meta apps. They have background services which can be disabled. Meta App Manager, got you. Meta App Installer and Meta Services can't uninstall outside of ADB. Got you. Yo, I just came across a program last week that'll let you uninstall. All you got to do is hook your phone up to it. Of course, you have to enable all that stuff in the phone in developer options. But I came across a program. I'm gonna see today or tomorrow. Actually, use it on one of these phones. Hope I don't jack it up. I think I'll use it on my spare Pixel because I'm not using it. But it'll uninstall apps. It's really cool. You reminded me. I'm gonna test that out. Maybe I'll do a video on that later. It's a program that'll do a bunch of cool stuff on your phone. You got the MacBook Pro? Yeah, see, I would get the Pro because I usually get the best of whatever products are out, but I'm not going to use it that much. So I'm like, I'd just be wasting money, you know? I'm just not going to use it that much. About the OnePlus 15R, is it good or should I go for the iPhone 17? If you're happy with it, I would stay with it. I can't think of many Android phones I would give up for an iPhone 17. I mean, I'm sorry. And that's just my opinion. Again, I would rather use a Nexus 5 than an iPhone 17. Yeah, I would rather use a 10-year-old Android phone than iPhone. but that's just me. Yes. Yep. Full fiber internet. I got a notification the other day. We're enabled for, was it 10 or 12 gigs internet? I don't need that much. A lot of the connections, like on my computers, Ethernet ports on the back of my mini PCs, the most they can do is 2.5. So even if I get 10 gig fiber internet, of course I can buy a 10 gig switch. What is it called? Unmetered switch on Amazon. But really, like, that's kind of a lot. And even if I do route it into my mini PC, it's just going to max out at 2.5. So that's why I have 3. So I'm like, well, why? I don't, it's fine. It's fast. It's really fast. They didn't run out of RAM. The order got canceled midway from what I heard. No shit. Interesting. We'll dig into this. You might be right. I need to do my research on my end. So it's probably why they canceled it. Because somebody's offering them way more money for that RAM than what Apple, and of course they sign agreements, they sign deals, and of course there's a cancellation fee, I'm sure, meaning like if you cancel my order, like if I'm Apple and I have a deal with this person, I'm signing the agreement, and if you cancel the deal or you opt out on the deal, you owe $1 million, cancel it, whatever. I'm sure the other company that was willing to buy that RAM was like, we'll pay for the freaking cancellation fee. We need that RAM. It's probably what happened. Apple has date of manufacture of their products, so I highly doubt half of their inventory right now was affected by the prices increase. Yeah, that is interesting. It would be interesting. Do y'all know? Of course, I'm not an Apple person, but like a box, you buy the S26 Ultra on the box, has a manufacturing date. It would be interesting to see if you bought a brand new MacBook Air, the M5 or whatever, see what the manufacturing date is on the back of the box, and kind of go back in time to see when that was. No, yeah, I know they're gonna stick it to you, right? They're not gonna do the ethical thing, and I shouldn't even say that, but they're not. Trust me, if they can jack the price up on you, they're gonna jack the price up on you. So I got to get up on out of here. I do appreciate the time. Again, this was going to be a members only live stream, but I've been off YouTube for the last 3 or 4 or 5 days and wanted to see how everybody's doing. We will do a members only live stream, not tomorrow. Tomorrow's my wife's birthday, so probably I'll go live tomorrow, but we'll do the members only live stream probably for Thursday. We'll do that Thursday, and I'm gonna get back to my app building. And if you missed the very beginning, I've been going for the last 3, 4, 5 days because I've been friggin' vibe coding my ass off. I fell into that trap because it's so fun and easy. So I got like 4 or 5 projects that I'm working on, but anyways, I do appreciate the time. Thank you, and hope you have a great rest of the day. And we'll see. We'll get to the Apple. We'll get to that Apple story tomorrow. I'll dive into it here this afternoon, and we'll dive into that juicy piece of news tomorrow. So appreciate it. See you. Peace.
Yeah. Woo.
I just need my space right now.
Fresh off the G5 jet, I'm on my way to a brand new kit.